Okay, do you want to hear some more about that? Okay, great. It's my pleasure to introduce one of the greatest storytellers in video games, my good friend, Amy Hennig. Amy, come on up.
Buddy, I'm finally
It's awesome
doing
to
it.
see you here.
Thank you, Kim. And look, we are so excited to finally show what we've been working on at Skydance New Media. And I just got to say, I am so proud of what the team has accomplished. My God.
It's incredible.
Right.
Amy, I'm sure the audience is wanting to know more about your game and the team. Can you tell us about it?
Sure. Well, as the trailer hopefully illustrates, we are creating a story-driven World War II era Marvel action-adventure game with an ensemble of playable heroes. But here's what's important to note, because people might not think this. This isn't some custom demo that we made just for this show. That's our game.
That is your
right?
game.
All the sequences you just saw in that trailer are all pulled right out of our game, running real time in Unreal Engine 5, no smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. I'd expect nothing less from your team. It's absolutely incredible. As with many of your past projects, you're really bridging the gap between films and games. But this is a whole new level. What's different nowadays compared to the old days?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you and I have known each other for what, over a decade now?
Over a decade, yeah.
Right. And we immediately hit it off, and I think it's because we've been chasing the same dream, right?
True, yes.
Which is to create richly interactive experiences that are cinematic, immersive, and make you feel like you're in a movie, but with all the player agency that you expect from a really great game, right?
Absolutely.
And in the past, this has always felt like it was just beyond our grasp. But I think we're finally crossing that threshold.
Yeah, we're trying our best.
Yes, we're trying our best, yeah. And look, when we're telling a character-driven story, it's critical for us to be able to really faithfully capture and honor every nuance of our actors' stellar performances. So we've been incredibly grateful to be able to partner closely with our friends on the MetaHuman team to tell our story.
Tell us a little bit about the visuals in the game.
Well, again, thanks to Epic and the Unreal Engine development team, we've been able to leverage some of the new Nanite and Lumen features being released in 5.4. And honestly, this is really helping our team to achieve a level of visual fidelity that enables us to present this authentically grounded Marvel universe.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go a little bit deeper and see some of these features that the team has used by firing up a level in the game. So, let's do that.
Sounds good. Okay. First, I'd like to introduce two of my colleagues, Colin Hennig, our cinematic animation director.
Yay!
And Roman Adiola, our director of photography. So Colin will be live and editor, and Roman will be on the virtual camera, just like he is at all of our performance capture shoots. So, if you all are ready, let's switch the feed and go back to that bridge environment. And let's see, yep, you're live, good, okay. So Colin, let's boom down and take a closer look at this environment. So to create a really immersive game experience, the characters and environments have to work together harmoniously. We can't just drop believable characters into a less than convincing world. So we need to start with authentic and densely detailed environments as the setting to our story. And look, because part of our story is set in 1940s occupied Paris, we needed the world to have a really believable and visceral level of detail and grit, as you can see here. So, Roman, why don't we focus on the ground here for a bit? Now look at that. That's an amazing amount of detail. It would have been nearly impossible to get something this complex to run in real time without the new features in 5.4. So, Kim, let's talk about some of the levels of detail that we're seeing here.
Sure. So, we're talking about Nanite's new adaptive tessellation feature. So, whilst Nanite lets you create environments like you're seeing here of incredible detail, the memory requirements can become impractical to realize for such a level of complexity across a huge level without the need for lots of instancing. And we thought that was a challenge, and we wanted to deal with it.
So, Colin, let's actually strip this scene right down to the dirt so folks can see what we're talking about.
So, see how simple this is? Relatively simple ground plane. Actually, let's show the triangle so you can actually see what's there. Just a few hundred triangles. Let's pop it back to the beauty render view. But with this new dynamic tessellation capability, we can actually displace that simple geometry and create new three-dimensional geometry of the quality that you're used to with Nanite. With nothing more than layering tile textures and using shader logic, you can make incredibly complex effects. So instead of me trying to explain it, let's get Colin to show the magic, and let's see a transformation of this face. This technique allows you to see an unprecedented level of geometric detail, but it's also memory efficient and can be changed dynamically in the runtime of your game. So things like footprints or tire tracks or even supernatural effects, if you would want them, can be visualized. And just to show how this simple geometry has now been transformed, let's have a look at the triangle view again. There you go. What you expect from Nanite. So it's a really, really smart, interesting technique to actually get details into the games without crazy, crazy amounts of geometry.
Let's switch it back to the detail view. Thank you. And of course, as you can imagine, this technology isn't just useful for the ground and for the ground terrain. It applies to every detail in the environment. So let's fly over to that pile of objects on the left over there, for example. And Colin, while we do, can you kill those headlights for me?
Cool.
Thank you. OK, so imagine our challenge. We're trying to authentically recreate a harsh winter in occupied Paris. That means every prop, every object, every detail, every rooftop needs to be realistically blanketed in snow. So now let's show how we can dial up the snow accumulation on these objects, right? And of course, we can dial it back as desired.
It's making me feel chilly, actually.
Yeah, actually, it's a little cold up here.
Or maybe it's just nerves.
And remember, of course, like Kim said, thanks to this technology, this is all actual geometry. So you can see how tools like these would really empower even a small team to art direct and set dress their environments dynamically. It enables our artists to create a series of layers in the environment and then build up the complexity, layer by layer by layer. Now, speaking of set dressing, let's go check out that fire barrel over by the watchtower we saw earlier. Yeah, that's the one there. And let's turn on a light to really illuminate the smoke coming out of the barrel. Thank you. Look at that. That's amazing. We could have never achieved effects this realistic in the past.
So this is what we call heterogeneous volumes. In the past, effects like these would be done with particle sprites, but that's kind of a cheat that often breaks down and can look flat. It's nice from afar, but far from nice, as we say back in the UK. So if we look at the glow of the fire as it dynamically illuminates the volumetric smoke, you can see that light transmitting through the volume. You can also see that the smoke itself is casting shadows onto the world, but also itself. These volumetrics can also mix with more traditional effects as well. So if you do want to put particles in there, fog, or even cards, you can do it. It all works in a unified way. You can run the simulation, the smoke simulation, in Unreal Engine natively if you want, or you can import OpenVDB datasets as sparse volume textures, resulting in film quality visual effects, volumetric visual effects, all running in real time that are totally responsive to dynamic lighting.
Yeah, and it just looks incredible. Now, of course, all of this is just to help us tell our story, right? And the story is nothing without great characters. So let's head back over to the bridge and catch up with Cap. Now, an essential part of any character's persona, particularly a Marvel hero, is their look. And it can be really distracting if the outfit doesn't look as realistic and believable as the rest of the world. So you can see Cap's leather uniform fits just like you would expect in real life, with all the correct material properties and the complexity of creases forming as he moves.
From a technical perspective, this is where we can effectively utilize machine learning. We can set up and run complex simulations in a package like Houdini and import that data into UE. We then use this to train an ML model, producing film quality deformations that run in real time.
But none of this matters without great facial performances. So let's bring Azuri, T'Challa's grandfather and our Black Panther, into this scene, this time with his mask off.
But I know who you are, Captain. America's hero, dancing around in red, white, and blue underwear. That shield that you hide behind does not belong to you. You are unworthy of it.
Right, and as he pauses here, Roman, why don't you go in really close and really show everybody the detail that we have in these models. It's insane, right? Like,
amazing.
It's essential for us to retain every nuance of the outstanding performance that our actor, Kari Payton, brought to Azuri's character. What you just saw there were untouched metahuman animator solves. So working with the MetaHuman process, we've been able to honor our amazing actors' performances and faithfully transform them into equally powerful digital performances. Now, of course, it all starts with the actor's talent, and we're fortunate to have two of our cast with us in the audience today. So I'd like to introduce Drew Moorline, who plays Captain America.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
And Kari Payton, our Black Panther. See, they hug. They're friends. They're not really fighting. It's all good. And of course, I want to take this opportunity to thank them and the rest of our wonderful cast for going on this incredibly crazy journey with us. And now, as a special treat, let's take a look at the entire bridge scene that you saw earlier. But this time, we'll keep Azuri's mask off to really showcase what we can do when all this incredible talent and all these amazing features come together. But remember, this is running entirely in real time.
Awesome.
That's far enough! I'm here on the business of the United States government.
Yours is not the only business here. Stay out of my way.
Stand aside!
I do not take orders from anyone. Turn around, boy. Go home.
Look, pal, I don't know who you are.
But I know who you are. Captain, America's hero, dancing around in red, white, and blue underwear.
Says the man dressed like an overgrown house cat.
That shield that you hide behind does not belong to you. You are unworthy of it.
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
All in engine, and just to show there's no cheating going on, hey, Colin, can you show the editor and the sequence of timelines?
Right.
So it really is running on Unreal Engine.
We don't cheat. Yeah.
So, absolutely incredible. I've never seen performances in a video game that are so believable. The storytelling, the action, I can't wait. It's going to be so good to play. Anyway, Amy, Colin, Roman, thank you so much for showing your game.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can't wait for it to ship.
Yes. Okay, we better
We'll get on with the
back to
show.
work, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
All
back
right.
to
Bye,
work. Back
everybody.
to work.